You ever notice how the world seems to shout at you, even when no one is raising their voice? Like life itself is leaning in, poking you, nudging you, daring you to react. And all around, people are yapping, gesturing, waving their hands, feeding off each other's noise. They're animated, loud, as if the very air around them is electric. And you're standing there, kneeling there, feeling the pull of all that energy, but strangely exhausted. Most folks think the solution is simple. Bark back, argue, defend yourself, match their volume. But here's the curious thing. The world doesn't need another barker. What it needs, what it rarely sees, is someone who doesn't respond, someone who kneels in the eye of the storm, letting the chaos play itself out without surrendering their own calm. When you resist the urge to fight, something strange happens. You start to see patterns invisible to the shouting masses. You notice the tension under the laughter, the fear behind the bravado, the empty gestures meant to impress. It's almost like a private broadcast life revealing its hidden layers, its delicate absurdities to someone willing to simply observe. And that's the paradox. By staying quiet, by not barking, you aren't weak. You are alive in a different dimension of the world. While others scatter energy into the void, you conserve yours. You watch, you breathe, you understand. And in that quiet defiance, in that refusal to meet chaos with chaos, there's a power the world can't touch, a kind of wisdom almost invisible but profoundly felt. The trick is simple and yet elusive. The louder life shouts, the softer you must be. That is where the clarity, the insight, and the freedom lie. Now, here's the thing most people never quite grasp. The world will try to drag you into its noise, and it does so with a certain relentless charm. People point, they argue, they nudge, they laugh at your stillness, sometimes politely, sometimes with venom hidden in plain sight. And your first instinct? To bark back, to match the energy, to prove you exist. But that instinct is exactly what the world wants. You see, reacting is easy. It's mechanical. It gives the illusion of control, but in reality, it hands your power away. Every shout you match, every argument you engage in, every defensive posture you take, it's like pouring water into someone else's fire while your own flame flickers. And what if I told you, you don't have to pour a drop? The quiet strength lies in refusal, not violence, not argument, not even retreat, just a subtle, almost imperceptible stillness. You kneel, you breathe, you watch, and suddenly, the chaos around you begins to lose its grip. The people shouting at you, they become actors performing on a stage you're no longer part of. Their fingers, their voices, their accusations, they drift past you like leaves on a current you don't need to swim in. This is where power quietly lives, not in noise, not in reaction, but in presence. It's the kind of strength that makes others uneasy without a word. It's the kind of wisdom that laughs at its own necessity. And most importantly, it's freedom, the kind that cannot be taken, borrowed, or broken. By not barking back, by simply being calm in the midst of the storm, you are not surrendering. You are mastering the storm, seeing it for what it truly is, and learning that the world's chaos is just that chaos. And chaos, when uninvited, has no claim over you. Here's something the world doesn't tell you. Most people are drowning in their own noise. They argue, they panic, they shout, and they expect everyone else to follow suit. And if you stay quiet, if you don't match their rhythm, they look at you like you're broken or worse, like you're judging them, but really, you're just not playing their game. Imagine this, a group of people shouting, pointing, pushing, trying to pull you in. Most would jump in, throw words back, defend themselves. But you kneel, you breathe, you watch. And the more they push, the more calm you remain, the more the storm seems to collapse under its own weight. That's the strange beauty of not reacting. The chaos loses its power when it finds no resistance. See, life isn't a battle you need to fight at every turn. It's more like a river. You can choose to be swept away, or you can flow with it without losing yourself. People who bark back are swept along, exhausted, bruised. You, on the other hand, are steady, quiet, aware. You feel the currents, the undertows, the hidden pulls, but you never let them drag you under. And here's the kicker. The world will try harder the more calm you stay. They'll push, prod, provoke. But that's proof that you're doing it right. The quiet, grounded presence, the refusal to be baited is not weakness. It's rare power. It's the kind of strength that can't be measured in volume or aggression. By simply not joining the storm, by staying present while others flail, you begin to see patterns no one else notices. You see the fear hiding behind anger, the fragility behind arrogance, the desperation behind confidence. And once you see that, the world no longer controls you. It becomes your observation, your lesson, your playground. There's a subtle magic in simply watching without reacting. Most people mistake quiet for weakness, calm for passivity. They think if you're not shouting, arguing, or proving your point, you've lost. But the truth is, the quiet ones are often the most untouchable. They move through the world without leaving themselves behind. When the crowd shouts, gestures, points fingers, or tries to provoke, it's easy to get sucked in. The instinct is to bark back, to match their energy, to prove you exist. But the real mastery, it's in not doing that. It's in kneeling, breathing, and letting the noise roll past you like wind over water. You observe, you notice, you learn, and in that silence, you gain insight that no amount of yelling can ever give. Here's what happens when you refuse the bait. The storm starts to reveal itself. The shouting, the anger, the pretense, all of it becomes visible, clear, almost absurd. You start seeing people's fears, their insecurities, their desperation. You see the patterns of their chaos, the currents of their energy, and you realize that most of the world is running a play they didn't even write themselves. And the best part? By staying still, you preserve your own energy. You don't get pulled into the exhaustion of their drama. You remain whole, grounded, your own axis in a spinning world. And the world notices it, even if silently. There's a magnetism in calm defiance, a strength in simply refusing to meet chaos with chaos. So, when the world shouts, points, or tries to push you into its storm, remember, the power isn't in fighting back. It's in watching, understanding, and staying unshaken. That is where freedom lives. That is where you are untouchable. Here's the final truth. Not barking back isn't weakness, it's mastery. While the world rushes, shouts, and scrambles to be seen, you stand still, you kneel, you breathe, and in that stillness, something extraordinary happens. You become untouchable. The world will push. People will point fingers. They'll shout. They'll try to drag you into the chaos. But the moment you refuse to respond, the storm loses its grip. Their anger, their drama, their desperate attempts to provoke, they fall away like shadows under a noon sun. You're no longer part of the narrative. You're the observer, the calm center, the one who sees what no one else can. And here's the irony. The quieter you are, the more power you hold. People feel it even if they can't explain it. There's a magnetic tension in calm defiance. It unsettles. It commands attention. It refuses control. That's the rare kind of strength few understand, but everyone notices. By not barking back, you conserve your energy. You preserve your clarity. You protect your mind, your heart, and your vision. And in doing so, you open space for something more important: wisdom, insight, and freedom. You see the patterns behind the chaos, the fear behind the anger, the truth behind the performance. And once you see that, you're no longer a player in their storm. You're a master of your own calm. So next time life shouts, when the crowd points and the pressure mounts, kneel. Breathe. Watch. Don't respond. And in that quiet refusal, you discover something most people spend a lifetime searching for. Power without violence, strength without struggle, freedom without noise. The world will roar, but you will rise above it all.